Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel, and we're here with the latest version of Football Manager 2023, and we're going to be testing out the GYR Swansalona tactic for FM23. This is the latest game engine for Football Manager 23. I'm going to just have a sneak peek at it. And where is that? Game status: Football Manager 23.3.0.18467 blah 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 blah. So the Swansalona tactic has been a very good tactic in previous Football Manager versions of the game. It's not an OP tactic per se, but it's a very good tactic you can go on to use if you're trying to build a system, trying to build a team going on a long run. It's going to be a very good tactic for you. It uses 2 inside forwards and 1 shadow striker, 1 advanced forward. And for this test, we're going to use it with a different brand of teams. Originally, in the first test where I met the Swansalona tactic, there were teams like Lazio and Atletico Madrid. Those are one of the top teams in Spanish La Liga, for example, and then Lazio is somewhat sub-top in the Serie A. But for this test, we're going to test it with Wrexham. They are one of the top teams in the lower divisions, so they're going to act like our elite side in this test, alongside Malmo and Wisla Krakow. They are one of the good teams in this test, even though they are in the lower leagues. But Wealdstone and Maidstone are 2 teams that are predicted to actually finish in the bottom side of the league in the Vanarama National League. So Ajaccio is in France, and then Racing Club de Lens is a mid-table team in the French League 1. So those are the teams that we're going to be testing out this tactic with, and we're going to see how the tactic works out. But before we test out the tactic, we're going to unbox it in detail. So if you're looking to recreate this tactic for yourself, you can go on to follow along with the video. And if you're new to the channel, remember to hit the subscribe button so you can get notified when more Football Manager tactic testing videos do come up here on the channel. So we'll start with the goalkeeper. For this tactic, GYR goes for a sweeper keeper on support duty, and he doesn't attach any instruction to the sweeper keeper. There are 2 wing backs on support duty, and then the wing back on the left hand side has been asked to cross the ball from the byline while shooting less often, while the wing back on the right hand side, same instructions: cross the ball from the byline, shoot less often. Ball playing defenders on defend duty also have identical instructions in shoot less often, but he opts for 2 central midfielders as opposed to 2 defensive midfielders. So I kind of like the difference in this tactic per se. So a deep line playmaker on support duty is the central midfielder on the left, no instructions attached to him, and then you have a box-to-box midfielder on support duty, no instructions attached to him as well. In the number 10 role, there is a shadow striker on attack duty: dribble more, take more risks, get further forward, and move into channels. That's the default shadow striker instructions anyway. No additional instructions for the shadow striker. And then you have an inverted winger and an inside forward. The inside forward is on the left hand side, but the inverted winger is on the right. The inverted winger has been asked to take more risks, shoot less often, and all the other instructions are default for the inverted winger on attack duty. So you have the inside forward, that is the player on the left. The inside forward is on attack duty as well: shoot less often and tackle harder. Then your center forward is an advanced forward on attack duty: take more risks and dribble more are his only instructions. Now for the team instructions, GYRFM goes for a positive mentality for this tactic. While in possession, the team has been asked to play with a fairly wide attacking width. The tempo is very high, and then there's also slightly shorter passing, but that's a default passing for the positive mentality. So this is the way the team instruction is set up in possession of the team. They've also been asked to be more expressive when they're trying to create chances, so their creative wisdom is somewhat expressive. In transition, the team has been asked to counter press and to counter, but the goalkeeper has been instructed to distribute the ball to the fullbacks and to throw the ball long to the fullbacks. When out of possession, then the team has been asked to play with a high press for the line of engagement, but the defensive line is standard. But the trigger press has been set to much more often trigger press while preventing short goalkeeper distributions and getting stuck in. So that's the way the tactic is going to be set up, and we'll look at how the teams that we've selected go on to do with this tactic towards the end of the season. So back here at the tail end of the season, and this is 20th of May, so there are currently like 3 games left to go in the season, and Racing Club de Lens are currently in 2nd place, and they're in the Champions League positions, and PSG, obviously they are supposed to win the league, so they are first. It's quite a distance, but Lens, expected to finish in mid-table, have found a way to somehow get into the Champions League places. And looking at the most goals per game, most points per game as well, but we'll start from the goals. PSG has 105 goals, but Lens are in there with 70. Like I mentioned, it's not an OP tactic, so I'm not expecting the team to score heavy amount of goals, but they do play well enough to get into the Champions League places. And then looking at the most points per game, PSG has 2.46 points, and then Racing Club de Lens has 2.11. That's higher than Monaco and Olympique Marseille and Nice and Olympique Lyonnais as well. So quite a good tactic if you want to go on to test that out with one of your teams. We'll look at how the other teams are doing, by the way. One of the other clubs in France that we went on to test it with, Ajaccio, they did not actually hold on to their manager for very long. So we'll go on to Wrexham now. Even though they were predicted to finish or predicted to win the league, Wrexham went on to finish with 102 points in total, goal difference of 44, and then highest amount of goals, they had 2.22 points per game. And then Maidstone were the other team that we also tested out the tactic with. They had 1.77 points per game. Looking at the most goals, Maidstone, Wrexham and Wealdstone, those are three teams I went on to test the tactic with. They did have a good amount of goals. Maidstone scored 104, Notts County had 108, but they weren't testing out the tactic. Wrexham had 98 goals, and then Wealdstone had 73 goals in total. I'm just curious now as to where Wealdstone went on to finish in the season. 17th place. Well, considering that they were supposed to be relegated according to their predictions, they did quite well to actually stay in the league. So the tactic is going to work quite well for any team that you go on to pick out. And then Wrexham are in the final of the English FA Trophy against Gateshead. Okay, I need to be certain. Is this Gateshead or Gateshead? I'm just going to stick with Gateshead. So they are in the final against Gateshead in the English FA Trophy. And the other teams that we're going to look at is in Sweden and Poland. So Wisla Krakow, although they were predicted to get promoted in the division, I don't know whether they were predicted to finish in first and second place, and they went on to win the league as champions. They had a goal difference of 59. They had 83 points in total. And then looking at the most goals, they had the highest amount of goals and the highest points per game, 2.52 points, fewest shots against. So for a team that is predicted to do well in the league, the tactic is actually going to do its very best for you. So it's much better for teams that are well equipped to actually dominate in the league. But if you're a mid-table side as well, we've seen it with all the other teams that we looked at, you're still going to get good enough results with that. These are shots against, very few, and then most shots for, they were the highest as well, and then the fewest conceded, you can see with 24. Malmo as well were expected to win the Swedish Premier League, and they went on to win the Swedish Premier League, although they lost 7 times. Once was a 5-0 defeat at IFK Göteborg and a 4-1 heavy defeat against Norrköping. This is actually serious. They went on to lose heavily in some iconic games, and then for some reason they still found a way to win the league, even though they scored 51 goals in total in 30 games played. And this is, by the way, the previous season. So they did go on to have 32 goals conceded, and well, not very good when you look at Malmo. So as much as they won the league, I don't really like the results that they had. This is the current season that they're in right now, so they're currently sitting in 7th place. The season that we're looking at was the season before, when we actually went on to have the test, and so far so good. I think ideally they're still using the same tactics, so it means that right now they're not. For Malmo, I don't really like the results from Malmo. They should be doing much better than they're doing right now. So as mentioned before, if you do go on to follow the video in detail, you can go on to recreate the tactic for yourself. But also I'm going to attach a link in the description so you can download the tactic and see how it works out for you. And by the way, in case there are any set pieces, that they actually look into the set pieces behind this tactic. If you download the tactic, you're going to get those set pieces that are attached to the tactic. So I figured I should just go ahead and take a sneak peek at the set pieces, and this is the way their defending corners are set up for the left and on the right hand side. And for the attacking corners, this is where this corner attack is set up. There's a near post corner routine here. Defender on the near post, both central defenders are attacking the near post and lurking around the near post. It's same on the left and on the right hand side, so you can go on to recreate that for yourself in your Football Manager and then see how the tactic actually goes on for you. So I'm going to catch you guys with more Football Manager tactic videos like this. If you did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like on it and also to subscribe to the channel if you aren't already subscribed, to get notified when more Football Manager videos like this do come up, especially on tactic testing videos like this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.